Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire. We are your counselors this evening, Jeremy.
And Jason. And I just need to
And
tell you, Jeremy, I need to tell you about this movie.
oh, okay. How was this movie?
It was good. I mean, there were just scenes it was good.
Was it that good?
Yes, it was that good.
Was it that good, Jason?
It was, Jeremy. It was very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Is it because you're such a fan of Vince Vaughn?
Actually, I am. Very much so a fan of Vince Vaughn. But that's besides the point.
Well, that got freaky.
What did you like about it? Or let me rephrase that. Did you like it?
Yes, I liked it. It was a nice. It was a nice. It was a good movie with nice twists and turns and a very good premise. It was a very good premise.
I mean, essentially, it's just a horror version of Freaky Friday.
Yes, yes. Essentially, it's.
It's exactly what it is. But
I mean,
I think they casted it very well.
I think this is the same team that did Happy Death Day. Is it Happy Death Day to you?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's the same people who did that movie. I'm just trying to remember if that was the name of it.
Oh, yeah, it is Happy Death Day.
So just think of this as this is the horror version of Freaky Friday, and that other movie is like a horror version of Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, essentially. Like I said, I think one of the reasons why I think this movie works so well, in my opinion, is the casting.
Yes, it's nice to see Vince Vaughn in his element of comedy instead of, horror. His
Yeah, because if this was just a straight up horror movie, I don't think it would have worked with him.
No, I mean, I got enough of him in Psycho and I didn't need no more.
You know, it's not like it's not a suspenseful movie like Domestic Disturbances. It's not that suspenseful crime movie, which he does really well in too. Like, you
And
know,
it doesn't have dinosaurs.
yeah, it doesn't have dinosaurs,
No dinosaurs.
but it it was different for him. He could still do the same style of acting that he always does, but on a whole different premise.
Yeah, I think
If that makes sense at all.
I think the biggest thing is that they played
Plus, it's a Blumhouse production, and that just makes it all the much more better.
yeah, I mean, let me see here. I gotta look up the cast list for this. So essentially, the premise of the movie is that you have um, Millie. That's her name, Millie.
Mm-hmm. She was in
Millie.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh yes, that's where I recognized her from.
She also plays Lucy in Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, that's the other one there.
And Lisa, and which we'll cover eventually, and Lisa Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's a new one that recently came out, I think. But yeah, so you have in the story you got Millie and you have the Butcher. That's what his name, the Butcher. And we're not talking about that one from Diablo. Was he saying? Meat. Yeah, not that one. No, this one is Vince Vaughn as just a serial killer, known as the Blissfield Butcher. And I missed a little bit of the beginning of the movie. How did he come about that dagger? Because the dagger was.
Okay, so did you watch the beginning at all?
I missed a little bit of it. I
Okay,
saw the
so the
couple bits.
beginning of this movie. Okay, so first off, let me just say the kills in this movie are fantastic.
They did have some pretty creative kills in
And
there.
my favorite scene is actually a kill from the beginning of this movie.
Oh yes, that's right. Because he murders a whole bunch of
Kids.
he murders a bunch of high schoolers or whatever they are.
Yep, and this is my favorite scene right here.
Oh guys, is the toilet scene? No.
No,
Make Jeremy move that little picture around.
watch this.
Yeah, that's a bit of an extreme. What's that? Did he have like actual like liquid in that? Was there?
Yeah, it was a full bottle of wine that he shoved down the kid's throat from the top, and then he smashes it while it's in his throat. Like just breaks the bottle while it's in the kid's throat. Are you okay over there? Jason. Oh.
Yeah, you. I think gonna have to pardon me. As you can tell, I'm not in the same location as I usually am. Uh, we moved over the weekend, and I don't have a proper setup yet. So I'm still getting things kind of worked out right now. But yes, that was a. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just very quiet on your end.
No, I can hear you.
Usually there's some sort of sound. Okay, so yeah, no, it was very, very creative kill. So
This is where he finds the dagger when he kills the 4 people at the beginning. The last girl he kills, the one that was hiding in the closet that he... the spear that he missed originally that went into the wall, that he picked her up and just kind of smashed her against, like... Okay, before I get into the dagger thing, let me just say the tropes that they pulled from other slasher flicks were great. Because I'm not gonna lie, when he picked her up and like put her against the spear that he had missed her with originally at the beginning of the movie, did you see what he did right after that?
no, I think I missed that part.
Okay, this is what he did. Are you looking at my camera?
Yeah.
He picks her up, he smashes her against it and goes,
Yeah, so
he did the Michael's head tilt, and I was just like, what?
so that's the thing about having like one of these comedy horror movies is that you can put these tropes in the film, like the specific kills, because I'm pretty sure there's been plenty of times where we've seen Jason pick up the victim and smash him up on the wall against something and kill him, or do the head tilt.
Jason doesn't ever do the head tilt.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's picked up someone and slammed him up on the
Oh,
wall,
yeah.
a protruding object that killed him. Michael's done it. It's just something that the killers do. The head tilt, so you can do that. If this was like a serious film, those things you'd just be looking at going, oh, that's just them kind of knocking off what's been done before. But when you do it as a comedy and you add in those like little things and you make them stand out like that, you go, oh, that's funny because that happens in other horror movies,
But
and
going back to what I was saying, sorry. After he kills the four of them, he finds the dagger in the girl's house because I guess her dad does something with historical artifacts, and he finds it in the house, and he takes it from the house.
Okay, so he gets it from okay, and so he proceeds to, I guess he finds. We skip ahead and we get to Millie. She's what? She's a mascot for the high school team, and she ends up getting attacked. She's waiting on her mom to pick her up, I believe, and it's late, and the butcher attacks her, and I guess he stabs her at like what, the stroke of midnight.
Yeah, something like that.
Time. And essentially, they switch bodies, just like in Freaky Friday. And Millie wakes up in his body, and he wakes up in her body. And shenanigans proceed.
And this is where Vince Vaughn just shines.
Because he's having to play a high school girl, and it does have some. It's not. It is a comedy, but it also has like some very emotional moments, and like there's like the scene where he's in the dressing room later on in the movies, or she's in the dressing room as him.
Yes.
And her mom shows up, and they have like a little back and forth because her and her mom are not on like the best terms, because I guess the dad passed away early on, and they're all three of them are having to deal with it in their own way. And you get some of the tropes where you get like the super jocks, where they're just, oh my God, this movie was, now that I go and think about it, this movie was kind of rapey feeling a lot. There was a lot of like the jocks themselves just seem very icky, if you know what I mean.
No, it absolutely was, especially that scene at the party where he leads her to the other two, and he's like, "You got 3 holes, and there's 3 of us."
Yeah, like it's just like, really, is this? No, this is just. I guess it's to make it, make them seem like more bad guys, and then make them more digestible when they get killed off. Which fine, whatever.
Especially when she hacks him with a chainsaw.
Yeah, she managed to take out those 3, and then it's the movie. The movie itself is pretty good. I think there's just some certain elements of it that's just kind of like, ugh. But
one thing
overall,
one thing I did like about this one is them when they swapped bodies, like Vince Vaughn acting as her, realizing how strong she is, and when she's trying to act like the serial killer and realizing how weak she is.
Yes, that was actually pretty funny. Every time she tried to attack someone, she could. Well, okay. See, this is where it gets hard to decipher the butcher in Millie's body when he attacks somebody, like when he attacked the wood shop guy, the teacher, and that teacher lays the smackdown.
Oh, he beats the ever living tomfoolery out of her.
Which is kind of funny, because you would think that with something like that, there would be some sort of like, hey, I'm gonna go. You do that again, I'm gonna go step out, and I'm gonna, get a teacher or get someone, because this is an assault at this point. But he's just so ill-mannered and just so mean that he beat the butcher in Millie's body. He beat him senseless, and then he got like the screwdriver in the neck, and I would say he went for one of the gnarliest kills, which is throw him up on the table saw and then just
That was
dissect him.
that was my second favorite. There's a reason why I didn't choose it, and you'll see why later down the line. Because it's similar to a kill in another movie that's I really really like. And when we get to that movie, which will actually be my next series, you'll see why I didn't select it. I also thought the bottle thing was just a lot more creative.
Well, yeah, I mean there is a decent amount of creative kills. There was, like I said, the table saw one. There was the one with the toilet seat thing.
Yeah, and then you brought up a fair point when watching the movie. What high school has a cryogenic freezing chamber in their basement?
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be like a sports thing, because they used to have like the ice tubs, kind of ice your body off once you've kind of did some extreme workouts. You sit in the tub or whatever. It's supposed to help out. Look, I'm no sports guy. I'm no athlete. I don't know anything about how your body works, muscular wise. I don't know how that's supposed to help or not help. I don't know. All I know is I've seen it before where, they go out and they practice real hard, and then they come back in and they get in like those ice tubs, So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so the school has, and it only seemed like they only had one. Okay, I'm not seeing like a line of them, and the fact that this thing can do like what Fallout 4 does is go down to such a low temperature that it can actually freeze you to death.
Instantaneously. It's not even slow. It was just like...
I don't know if that was instantaneous. That could have been slow because it was over amount of time.
No, it wasn't. He threw her in there and he just started it up.
Yeah, he started it up, and then later on, that's when Millie in the butcher's body found her. So she had a little time sitting in there. It wasn't just like instant. But I do think on the side of the machine itself, it said like cryonator or something like that. It's like that's not really that's a freezing machine. That's what you guys have down there in the sports basement, is a freezing machine. That was like one of the one things I did point out about the movie. I was just like, this is silly because you have a high school, and it was a very nice, rich high school, I guess, but
it's a ripoff of Jason X.
Yeah, I mean, not in the cool way, though. We'd already seen that before. See, that's the thing.
Where he dumped her in the water?
No, it wasn't the water. It was the
liquid nitrogen.
Well, yeah, the liquid nitrogen. Froze her face, lifted it up, took a look at it, and then smashed her face, on the countertop. And see, that's the thing about this movie, is that unless you can get something kind of a little bit more creative, it's kills that we've seen before. And it's great that they nodded to those kills. We got a frozen kill where she shatters to pieces. You got a table saw kill like Jeremy we've seen before. Even the pickup put on object kill we've seen before. I think I've even seen a toilet seat kill at one point. So it's not like it's my first one. Now, the bottle thing is about probably the first time. I know this movie probably came out well before Evil Dead Rise came out, and Evil Dead Rise had something similar, except it wasn't like whole bottle wedged in. She was like chewing on the glass, and it was...
I was about to say, I've seen bottle kills before where they've broken bottles and killed them with the glass and stuff like that, but I've never actually seen him literally just take the bottle and get it so far down in your throat and then break the bottle on the inside of your throat.
And it was a full bottle, so you got to see it.
Yeah, you got to see the wine coming out of it.
So, that makes it very creative. But yeah. So
Don't
you
forget the
have
hobo that she woke up to. You got the drugs?
yeah.
I know you got them drugs.
Do I look like a high school girl to you? Yeah, you got some good drugs. Yeah. So
Again, Vince Vaughn was definitely in his element.
yeah, he had. I think that's just where he works best is usually in comedy. Um, yeah, they wake up, they switch bodies, and then the butcher inside Millie's body goes out on a killing spree, and Millie inside the butcher's body tries to convince everyone that she is not a killer.
So if
Um,
the name of this movie originally was Freaky Friday the 13th.
that's a little bit on the nose. I just like freaky.
I do too, but yeah, that the original name was supposed to be Freaky Friday the 13th. And then apparently the stunt where Vince Vaughn gets hit with the car, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually got hit with a car. He was the stunt man.
Some of those actors out there, they do. It seems like they do a lot of their own stunts. I know, like, if you ever watched like a Tom Cruise movie where he's hanging off the side of the airplane, was that Mission Impossible? Yeah, that's him hanging
Tom
off the side.
Tom Cruise does 95% of his own stunts.
Yeah, he's kind of crazy that way.
There's
But
a
then,
there's
then
a
again,
scene in one of the new Mission Impossibles where he like takes a dirt bike off of a canyon cliff. Yeah, they had to get it in one shot or two shots. I mean, that's all they could afford. And he literally went out there and did exactly that.
well, he's kind of crazy anyway. So, but just saying, sometimes doing your own stunts can be fun, and sometimes they can hurt. Just ask Jackie Chan. Um, but yeah, so the butcher in Millie's body goes around killing people, and Millie in the butcher's body tries to convince people that she is not the killer, even though her face is plastered everywhere at this point. Um, so she ends up tagging up with her two friends. Um,
That
what are
doesn't.
their name?
That's. I don't see that, but sure. Not what
What?
you said, but what I read. Vince Vaughn's character wears a mask that resembles Aaron Rodgers, who's the quarterback for who was at the time the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. But that's not fun. So,
But
uh,
yeah, that was while they were at the mall.
yeah.
Does it that rubber mask?
So
Let's see.
Michael
Go
Hoog,
ahead.
who plays Evan at the beginning, he's one of the kids that got killed off. He's the blonde-haired kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually made to resemble Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Wow, really?
Because Hoog actually plays Zach's son Mac in the reboot of Saved by the Bell.
Wow.
He's supposed to look like Zach Morris.
Wow. I was I'm looking at like the cast list here, and I love the description here. It goes Coral Kessler is uh Char and Millie's alcoholic widowed mother. Nyla Chones, Millie's best friend. Josh Detmer, Millie's other best friend. Mr. Bernardi, Millie's abusive and unsympathetic woodshop teacher. Booker Strode, Millie's love interest. Ryler, Millie's worst bully. That's the one that got me. Millie's worst bully.
Oh my god. So I just read something.
What'd you read?
The death scene involving the bottle getting shoved down someone's throat has appeared in 2 other slasher movies.
Oh, before this one or after?
before this.
Oh, okay, what?
Sorority Row in 2009 and Midnight Kiss 2019 from the Hulu horror anthology series Into the Dark.
Oh, see, been done before. This movie had nothing original. Not even the plot, Jeremy. The plot of switching bodies is not original.
That's okay, because do you know what other horror movie they referenced with Millie in one of her kills?
What?
The Scream.
Booker.
One of the Scream Queens.
Booker.
No.
Booker.
No.
Booker. Booker, look at me, Booker. Booker.
Booker, look at me, Booker. Come on, look at me. I am not the killer.
That's poor kid. That's poor kid.
Kill. Have no.
I thought they kept saying booger.
Okay, no. What was weird, and even PJ said something about it, was okay. Before I get into one of the other horror tropes that they put in this movie, but in the back seat of the car when Nyla was going in to get the dagger, and they're sitting in the back seat, and Booker gets Vince Vaughn.
I don't know if they actually did they actually
Yes.
in the movie kiss?
Yes.
Or was it like she stopped and like
No. No. No, they did.
No, now Millie's gonna get back in her body, and Booker's like, "Oh,
No.
I'm not really attracted to you anymore." Yeah, I guess I was attracted to a 50-year-old man.
No, they definitely, yeah. No, so there is a horror trope in this movie, that is only referenced by the weapon that Millie uses. We'll see if you can guess which one it is.
You mean that steak?
Nope.
What weapon did she use?
She used a lot of weapons, but one of them is a specific weapon from a horror movie that there's 3 of them, and the first 2 have a Scream Queen.
Well, that doesn't help me.
It should. There's only a few Scream Queens out there.
Well, I know there's a.
Let's go through the Scream Queens. Who's the first one?
Is it? It's not prom night, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
It's an old school Scream Queen.
Oh, is it Psycho?
Nope. Newer.
Oh, Psycho had more than 3 movies, though.
There's only 3. The third one is absolute garbage. Like, even the kill count says it's absolute garbage. They said the second one is too. But the third one just shouldn't even exist.
Oh God. Okay, what is it? Just.
Come on. I'm right here.
Oh, I know what you did last summer.
When she had the hook.
Oh, I forgot that movie existed. which is funny because we've actually been here. Raven's been watching a show called 911, and Jennifer Love Hewitt is on that show. So I get to see an older Jennifer Love Hewitt compared to her younger self. And
She is a Scream Queen.
How do you even qualify to be a Scream Queen?
I only know of 3. It's the original, which is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom and Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Jennifer Love Hewitt. But that's a good question. Like, what qualifies you as a Scream Queen? Are you Googling it right now?
I am.
Good. You can tell me what qualifies people to be a Scream Queen. They had a whole like TV series, I think on MTV, called Scream Queens.
Yeah. A scream queen is an actress who is prominent and influential in horror films, either through a notable appearance or reoccurring roles.
Okay. So not that many.
No, there's quite a few here on this list. Notable female examples include Barbara Steele, Sandra Peabody, Linda Blair. Skip a couple of these. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Okay.
Or Winstead. Oh, I know her. She was in like the Final Destination.
Yeah.
Okay. Jamie Lee Curtis, Nev Campbell.
Okay. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I get what they mean, but I don't see Nev Campbell screaming a lot.
It's not about the scream. It's about the horror movie.
Yeah. See, that makes a little more sense. I just think of screaming.
Dee Wallace, Jenna Ortega, Samara Weaving, Heather Langenkamp.
Okay.
Emma Roberts.
Oh, yes. Which hers is from American Horror Story.
What, Emma Roberts?
Yeah. Hey, apparently there's an arcade in this movie for Jurassic Park.
Scream 4.
Yeah, but that's the only Scream movie she's in.
Oh, okay, so...
You want to hear something crazy, Jason?
Go ahead.
The town square in the movie Freaky is in Covington, Georgia. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the same town square where they filmed the first 5 episodes of the original Dukes of Hazzard TV show.
Wow, really?
Like,
Jeremy.
What?
Since we were on the subject of Scream
Queens?
Can you give me... Okay, this just says sometimes referred to as the very first Scream Queen. Probably won't get it.
I mean, I've always dubbed the first Scream Queen to be Psycho.
That would be probably the third one. Nope. Fay Ray in King Kong.
I don't consider King Kong horror.
No, but apparently this list does.
You know what? That's what IMDb is for, homie. Let's find out.
You know who else is on this list, Jeremy?
Do I even want to know?
Our boy Bruce Campbell.
He's a Scream Queen.
Referred to as a Scream King. I'm sure they have a...
So, all right. Well, I guess this is kind of a new thing we get to add into the podcast.
What?
Because, just so you know, the original King Kong is monster horror.
Okay, so it's a horror movie, so we're going to end up doing some King Kong.
So is the original Godzilla.
Yeah, so well, okay, we can't go through all the Godzillas.
Oh, yes, we can.
We're going to have to cut that one, like, okay, here's my series. We're doing Godzilla. Okay, well, we're going to be stuck on this for a year.
Monster horror. Hey, that means we get to do the Matthew Broderick.
Oh God, that one may not be considered.
It's a part of Godzilla.
It is, yes, but it is.
It don't matter. It's part of the Godzilla franchise, and the Godzilla franchise is monster horror. We get to do the Earthworm guy. And the French people who want to talk like Elvis.
Nick the Topolopoulos.
Hold on, I gotta know who that actor is. Not Matthew Broderick, the other one. The French guy. He plays it also in Leon the Professional.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Jean Reno. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
We get to do Godzilla.
Oh, see,
Godzilla.
I'm just stuck on this list now. I'm looking at all these ladies on here, and like the two guys they have on here.
The Scream Kings.
No, they got a third guy on here. Well, see, like I think I just passed him. It was the guy who was in the second Nightmare movie.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's got a whole documentary on
Yeah, and
Shudder.
He's is he gay?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he can.
Oh, you know, now that you bring that up, that was also another funny scene in this movie when they had Millie tied up in Josh's house.
Oh yes, okay, so.
And his mom came in and he's like, "Mom, I have something to tell you."
Okay, let's
I'm straight.
Let's talk about Josh. Josh is the gay character.
The gay best friend.
Yes, and I mean I don't know what levels there are, but let's just go with extremely. And I mean he's one of those characters that's like not hiding it. It's not like some sort of like ooh closet type of thing. He's out there and everyone knows it. And
oh, we lost him. We lost him. Josh, don't want you talking about him.
So,
there you are.
Yeah. Yes, they ended up catching the butcher who was still in Millie's body, and they took him back to Josh's place, tied him up, and yeah, they were like, hey, just watch him for a little bit. We're gonna go get the dagger. And they left Josh there with him, and they got him tied up, duct tape, and like Jeremy said, Josh's mom comes home, and he's like, oh, we're role playing, and the mom was like, what did she say? Isn't role playing
A sex thing.
Yeah, and he kind of looked confused. He looked over at Butcher Millie, and Butcher Millie just kind of gave him like a wide eye, like yeah, and he's like, oh mom, I have something to tell you, and it's funny because in most cases it would be the opposite. It'd be like, hey, I got something to tell you. I'm gay. But he was, it's just like, mom, I just want to let you know, I'm straight. And his mom just looked at me and was like, gosh, you are a whole lot of things, but straight is not one of them. And he's just like, yeah, I guess that is true. So, yeah, I mean, I guess to an extent, I guess you can have in like a show or a movie or something, you could have that gay character that's like overly gay. And you're just like, oh wow, could you be any gayer? You know, type of thing.
What was he? What did he shout when they were first running from Millie when she was in the butcher body?
Mm. Cause he told Nyla, he says, "You're black, I'm gay, we are so dead." Because, because you know those are tropes in, um, which
Horror.
is which is a bit weird because it kind of contradicts the rules of Scream 4. Was it 4? Where
No, virgins don't die.
no. It was the one where
Yeah,
the
with
guy.
Emma
I,
Roberts. He first says he's a virgin because that was a
no,
rule.
no, he fell on the ground. The guy,
Well, he
he,
said he
he was,
said he said he's a virgin first, and then he's like, "Well, I'm gay."
mm. I think he just used gay.
Oh,
He
and
was
then
just like, you can't kill me, and
I'm
Ghostface was
gay, and he's like,
like, I'm gay,
and
and then he got stabbed in.
he's literally this was Ghostface.
Yeah, so since we know who the killers are in that movie, it makes sense that they wouldn't believe him. But in the sense that they didn't, you know, that would be a trope where it's like he's using that as a. So, I'm guessing in that universe, and according to horror rules, gays don't or aren't supposed to get killed. I guess. But in this one, you know, he clearly stated, "You're black, I'm gay. You know, we're both dead." Because those are tropes in horror movies. You know, it's usually the people of color and usually of sexual orientation that are, you know, usually the ones getting picked off first. I usually think of comic relief characters getting murdered off first, but yeah, sometimes they make it towards the end. But
I think. So overall, would you watch this movie again?
yeah. Yes, it's a fun movie, and I do like the ending where the they did the switch up, and the cops shot him, and then he pulls the Michael Myers again.
You mean this right here? Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, that's what we think of Psycho.
So there's one other thing about that scene that I actually really like, and I didn't get a chance to show it beforehand. Um, we always know Vince Vaughn to be comedy, right? But that scene alone was like one of the few times in this movie where he did like the serious role. But he pulled it off there too.
Well, see, that's the thing about it is that it's because it's his own thing. I think the only other horror movie that I've seen him in is Psycho, and I have to compare his performance to Anthony Perkins' performance. And I'm gonna let you know now, he doesn't compare to Anthony Perkins. So he's already got a uphill battle to climb on that. Even when he kind of brings his own flair to it, it's still the same character that he's having to portray.
Yeah.
In this movie, he's not playing a Michael, he's not playing a Freddy, he's not playing a Jason or a Leatherface or anything like that. He's playing his own killer. Now, he may have little tropes and little sprinkles of these other killers involved, like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers with the mask and the silent killing. But and you know, like coming back from the quote unquote dead, like Michael and Jason, but in a sense, he's still playing his own character, and the way they fluctuate between the two, that's what gets the movie the props that it deserves.
Yes, because I think the great thing about it is Vince Vaughn does the comedy side of it very well because that's his forte. But I can't think of the actress's name who plays Millie, but she does the great serious serial killer trope. Like, she does that very well. So I think it was Catherine Newton.
Yeah.
She did that very well. So it was really nice to see, like, her be able to do that while he gets to do what, his thing.
And I'm pretty sure that I saw an interview or whatever where they actually worked together really close so he could actually imitate what she does, so he can get her movements down, her whole personality down. And so when you see him, and at the beginning of the movie, I don't think he ever says anything.
He doesn't.
He's like the silent killer. And then he attacks her, they switch bodies, and that's when he starts talking, but he doesn't ramble, he doesn't talk a lot. He says some mean, threatening things and then proceeds to do his killing. But when they switch back, it's almost like the personality doesn't change. The personality doesn't change. So when Catherine is Catherine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Catherine. When she's portraying the butcher personality and she's doing her thing, and then they do the switch at the end where Vince Vaughn is now the butcher again. It takes a moment to get your head wrapped around it because you spent this whole movie watching Vince Vaughn play, a high school girl, and now all of a sudden,
do I look like a girl?
Oh my God, you are on them drugs. But seeing them switch personalities and seeing it flow so easily, it does make it, that's what saves it. It'd be entirely different if, he's silent, does his thing, they do the body switch, she puts out this performance of this killer or whatever, and then they switch back and you're like, oh, okay, now we've lost it because they don't line up like they should.
This movie could have fumbled very hard.
It could have.
If not executed correctly, and I think they executed it correctly.
Yeah. I mean, the movie it's a fun movie. It's got everything that you want in a horror movie. Horror movies don't have to be scary. Okay? That's the great thing about certain, I think horror works really well as a comedy also,
Tucker and Dale. Tucker and Dale
versus Evil is one of my personal favorite.
We've just had a doozy of a day.
I know, eventually we'll get to like Happy Death Day. Those are fun movies. Pretty much she's trying to figure out who this killer is, but she keeps dying.
Yeah.
It's just Groundhog's Day. Everyone's Groundhog's Day. It's essentially the same thing. She just dies and comes back and has to repeat the day again. So, I just think, in certain aspects, everyone thinks horror movies are supposed to be scary. They don't have to be scary. They could be fun, comedy movies. I know after this, we're going to get into the trailer for our next single movie, which is also a horror comedy people love. But I do think that some of the strongest horror movies out there, and it doesn't shy away from the gore and the violence and the stuff like that. So you have for all the people who like the violent, the gore, the slasher aspect of it, you're gonna enjoy this movie. If you like comedy, you're gonna enjoy this movie. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone, except for the kids. Don't let the kids watch it.
I was about to say, like I said, I think you nailed it right on the head. Like, It's got everything that you need in a good horror movie. But let's see what everybody else thought of Freaky Friday the 13th, or as it's actually called, Freaky. With a total of 76,000 votes.
We're going to call this movie Vince, the Millie Butcher Vaughn. Fun.
So, what do y'all think everyone on IMDb gave Freaky on a scale of 1 to 10 with 76,000 votes?
I'm going to give it an 80, and I believe Raven...
An 80? Okay, 1 to 10, Jason. 1 to 10, homie.
Oh, sorry, I forgot my decimal point. There you go.
8.2 or 8.0?
8.0.
What's Ravenfire giving it?
Oh, she's not on. So it looks like it's just me and PJ.
All right. Jason, I need you to look at me, Jason, okay? I need you to look at me. All right? Look at me. You died.
That's too high.
It's a 6.3 out of 10. Okay, Jason, look at me.
Wow. I don't want to look at you no more. Booger.
It was
Booger.
I don't agree with the 6.3 out of 10. PJ, you actually won. You're actually 0.1 off. 0.1.
I think, well, you don't agree with the 6.3?
I don't. I think it should be about a 7.5.
What did you say was this IMDb?
Yeah. But now we move on to the Freaky Tomatoes.
The butchometer.
So, with over 250 reviews from critics on the butchometer,
And I did not forget my decimal.
what do y'all think they gave Freaky?
A
70?
Let's say 70.
Just waiting on that PJ.
Rook.
60? Okay, PJ, I need you to look at me. PJ, you're dead. Actually, it was certified fresh at an 84%. Critics liked this movie.
Probably like the creativity in it. And they like
It's an entertaining slasher with gender-bending, body-swapping twists. This horror comedy juggles genres with freaky fun results.
Yeah, see, I didn't actually think about that when they say gender bending. It's
Although somebody did say that a Camp Vince Vaughn is a device of diminishing returns.
a camp.
Yeah, like Vince Vaughn doing the same stuff he always does.
I mean, why do you see Daniel Craig go play James Bond in like 4 movies?
Or Tom Cruise in every Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I mean, sure, those movies don't probably rate as high continuously, but for certain aspects, certain actors you go see because of certain performances. Sometimes you notice that certain actors, they can portray a scale of stuff.
Other actors have their niche.
Look,
Jim
okay.
Jim Carrey has his niche.
I saw Tom Hiddleston, right? Plays Loki.
Yeah.
I
Plays in King Kong.
I saw him in the first movie I ever saw him in was Loki or Thor. He played Loki. Okay, it was the first time I was ever exposed to Tom Hiddleston. And I can't remember if Crimson Peak came out before or after the second Thor movie. Okay, but at that point, Tom Hiddleston was Loki for me. And I was like, oh man, he's playing in Crimson Peak. And I watched it and I was just like, it's not the same. I'm not saying his performance was bad, but it's not the same. I wanted to see Loki.
I can
And
honestly say the same thing about Robert Downey Jr. because you see him in Iron Man, right? Like
yeah,
Tony Stark. He is Tony Stark.
yes.
Okay? So I didn't realize he plays in The Fugitive 2 U.S. Marshals with Tommy Lee Jones. It's nowhere near the same, and you're just watching it going, you're not Iron Man.
Yeah.
You're not Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, his Tom Hiddleston's performance wasn't bad. It just wasn't Loki. And same with King Kong, you know? He plays like this adventurous, heroic hero. And I'm like, dude, you've been Loki for like 3 movies now, 4 movies now. You're not Loki in this. I want Loki. That's what I want. Other people we like variety, and that's fine. You know, everyone has their opinions. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I had certain actors like Owen Wilson. You know, I've seen him in The Wedding Crashers, and you know
Anaconda.
cer- he has his certain style. Even when he's just playing like normal characters, like in Anaconda,
Wow.
it's just Owen Wilson being Owen Wilson. You know, Anaconda. Um, what was that
Amityville.
one?
Is it Amity?
No,
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 it's House
House
on
on
the Hill.
House on Haunted Hill, or no, The Haunting. He was in that one.
Wow.
Or what was the one with the Armageddon?
Yeah.
You know, he's just Owen Wilson in that, and you know what? It's perfectly fine. I love just a good old fashioned Owen Wilson performance, but he was in, he's in the TV series Loki, and he plays a, a different character that's not Owen Wilson, and he doesn't feel like Owen Wilson. There's little tinges in there that make go, oh yeah, that's right, that's Owen Wilson, but his mannerisms have completely changed in this. And I'm not sitting there going, oh, I want more Owen Wilson. I'm actually drawn into his character more, because he fits a whole different realm of character. Um, I saw one of his first performances. It was
Bottle Rocket
Bottle Rockets, and
with his
I'm telling
brother.
you, you watch Bottle Rockets, and then you watch Owen Wilson of today, or at least a couple years back when he was in his prime of just playing himself.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, you go back and you look at that and you look at Bottle Rockets and you tell me that's the same guy, because it's not. He definitely has a whole different feel back then to what he does now, and I'm hoping that he just keeps kind of evolving as he goes. Owen Wilson's a fun guy I like to watch. So
Well, one critic did say before Freaky even introduced its high concept body swap premise, director Christopher Landon delivers a whole slasher film in a miniature, which is the whole beginning scene before when he gets the dagger.
yeah, it's kind of like does kind of remind me of like the Jason remake, Friday the 13th remake, where you sit essentially through like 20 minutes of
Hacking and slashing.
people getting murdered before the actual title
Title
card.
card.
You could do that whole like scene and then just call it a short and call it a day, and people would probably be like, "Yeah, that was awesome." Um,
Well, let's see what the people gave Freaky on a scale to 0 to 100.
I give it an 83. While people are putting theirs in, or PJ's putting hers in, I did want to say, when you were going back, you said that this movie had gender bending stuff or whatnot.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a couple other body swap movies. I know there's Freaky Friday, but that's a mother-daughter combination.
Yeah, face swap, but that's male and male, although that's great too.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Face Off?
Yeah, face off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
There was that one with Ryan Reynolds and was it Jason Bateman?
I think so.
It is called like Swapped or Switched or something. I don't know. But this one actually does. When you said gender bending, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do some research, but I'm pretty sure this is the only one that I know of that's actually male and female
swapping.
Yeah. So.
Well.
Yeah. Well, she's doing that.
She just put in her. So, Jason, look at me, Jason. Jason, look at me.
Booger.
Look at me, Jason. Look. Not him. Not him. Okay, look at me. You're dead.
I'm dead.
It was actually an 80%.
Oh, it's called the change up. It was what, 80?
80.
What did I say?
82.
Oh, 83.
Or 83.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yes, PJ, you did it twice. You won the night.
I was actually, yes, you got the switch. I was actually gonna put 80 originally, and then for some reason I was like, it needs to be a little bit higher.
Well, again, this movie was fantastic. That's all the time we have for tonight as we get into next movie, which is, again, kind of a trope on horror movies. I like this movie, too, that Jason picked. It's a fun movie. It's got a nice surprise cast ending that you don't see until the very end of the movie. So that's pretty cool. And it's got some cool stuff in it. But we will see y'all next week. Same time. Same campfire.
Jeremy, I don't think we're going to be on next week.
Oh, right. Next week's Christmas. So it'll be 2 weeks.
So if I'm thinking correctly, our next show
will be on
the 1st.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
And Jason gets the first choice of movie for the new year.
This is our last show of the year.
You know what, Jason? I think we should do a recap on the first of the year and push this one back 1 week.
We can do that. We can do.
I think that's what we should do.
We'll do a recap on the first, and
because I didn't even think about that. I completely forgot next week is Christmas.
Next week is Christmas, and then we could do a recap on the first. So, what, you want to do the movie after the recap?
Yep.
So we'll watch the movie the Monday after the recap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We could do that. Sounds like a fun idea. We always do recaps at the end of our years to kind of talk about what we like, what we didn't like, movies that we didn't see before.
This year has been a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of multiple weeks where we couldn't do stuff because of everything going on. I think, what was it, Psycho took like a month and a half to get through.
Yeah, so many issues with that. It was, I guess you could say, it was a bit psycho. Baby, what you doing?
So, but we will see y'all in 2 weeks at the beginning of the new year. And we will talk about the recap. And somehow we've made it 2 years and we still haven't talked about Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't know how we've made it this far without talking about those two classics yet. But
we're saving them.
It's crazy.
That or other people are like, ew, don't do those.
Well, we will see y'all in 2 weeks. Everyone have a great Christmas. We will see y'all at New Year's.
Yes, New Year's. Hopefully I'll have my new setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Stay safe.
Good night.